And welcome back, rugby fans, to Rugby411. As always, I'm your host. My name is Joshua Shibata, and it has been a little bit of time, but we are coming upon the biggest women's tournament outside of the Rugby World Cup for women's, the WXV. This is the second iteration of WXV. This is our 2024 WXV preview, and boy, is it going to be a awesome tournament and a great opportunity for our women of Team USA. So let's get into it. Before we get into the major details, just a little background. The WXV is a 3-tier global women's 15s tournament that takes place every year, or at least is going to take place every year. It just started last year. Well, basically, it gives all the top rugby teams around the world the opportunity to compete at a global competition to just give a lot of experience in preparation for the Women's Rugby World Cup, which this time around is going to happen in 2025 in England. That year also the WXV will not be happening because it will coincide with that tournament. Plus, there's a lot of people already kind of criticizing this tournament. I think it's an amazing tournament, especially from what happened last year. But many people are criticizing that it's pretty much the Rugby World Cup. So it kind of lessens the speciality of the Women's Rugby World Cup, which happens every 4 years. I am on the side to beg to differ that this just, again, gives a lot of teams the opportunity, like the USA, to compete on a global level, international competitions that they normally wouldn't see too much outside of the World Cup. So this is great preparation, especially for a lot of the young women who will be on Team USA. The chance to get their international competition feet wet in preparation for the Rugby World Cup next year. Last year, USA qualified for the WXV2. There are 3 tiers. 1 is the top tier, 2 is the mid-tier, 3 is technically more of your bottom tier, but still a top competition regardless. USA competed in WXV2, where they finished in 5th place with 1 win, 2 losses. Not exactly the best showing, but this year they're competing at the top tier WXV1, and boy, is it going to be tough sledding. I'll admit, for our USA women's, it's not impossible for them to win this competition, but they are definitely going to be competing against teams that are near the very top. If you already can see through our 2 pools of teams, which again I'll explain later, you have 8 of the top 16, 6 of the top 8 teams currently ranked at the top of the women's rugby world rugby rankings in this competition. USA is at the very bottom as number 8. So again, they are competing against the best of the best. And again, it's a really great opportunity for the USA women to compete at a top level. It's no different than what we've already established with the Pacific Nations tournament. With the Pacific 4 tournament, with the USA competing with Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Again, it just gives them a chance to compete at a high level, at a consistent high base, and that just makes everybody better. So I, for one, love this competition, especially too because it also just means more rugby for all of us rugby fans. And I'm here for it. I am totally here for it. So let's talk about this competition. There's going to be 2 pools in WXV1. Pool 1 consists of the #1 ranked team in the world, as well as your, technically your defending WXV champions from last year, and your 6 Nations champions from this year. The #1 ranked team England, #4 ranked team France, and #7 team ranked Ireland. All 3 of these teams qualified for this WXV1 tier competition by being in the top 3 of the 6 Nations women's competition. Canada is #3 in the pool 2. New Zealand is #2 ranked in the world and the pool 2. Both of these teams, of course, qualified because of being in the top of the Pacific Nations competition, the Pacific 4 that I just mentioned about earlier. Canada winning that competition 3-0, and then USA, of course, got in as well because we were the top 3 teams in that Pacific 4 competition, ranked number 8. They are the lowest ranked team out of these 6 teams. So again, really tough competition for USA. The 4th team in that the Pacific 4, if you're wondering about, Australia, they're going to be in WXV2, the 2nd tier, which USA was part of last year. The way that the competition works, 2 pools of 3 teams each. They will be cross-competing in the pools, so all Pool 1 teams go against Pool 2 teams, all Pool 2 teams go against Pool 1. You do not face anyone in your pool, so that means USA will not be going against Canada or New Zealand. They'll be going against England, France, and Ireland. Best record at the end of of those 3 games wins the tier. Right now, the WXV does not have any regulation from Tier 1 to Tier 2. That will start in 2026 after the Rugby World Cup. Tier 2 and Tier 3, though, WXV2 and WXV3, there is a regulation between the two. The bottom team in WXV2 will be delegated down to WXV3. WXV3 top team, the team that wins that competition, moves up into WXV2 the following year. Now, the matches, of course, that you'll be interested in, all these games, by the way, Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, all can be watched on RugbypassTv. Highly recommend. Great platform. You can watch so much rugby on there, and it's absolutely free. All of the competition in that, the WXV1, 2, and 3 will be available on the RugbypassTV. The USA Games. Fortunately, this is taking place in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, so it coincides with our time zone, so there's no early waking up or missing out if you're on the West Coast. They are all taking place at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so perfect for us West Coast fans. USA goes against number 1 England first off, September 29th, Sunday, 12:30 p.m. Then October 5th, Saturday, 12:30 p.m., they'll take on number 4 ranked France. And then the last team, the lowest rank of the Pool 1, Ireland, October 11th, Friday, 12:30 p.m. So again, great opportunity to watch live women's rugby. It is a great competition. Just a little background on each of these teams. As I mentioned before, England won the competition last year. They were in a perfect 3-0. Canada actually was 2nd last year in the WXV1. They only losing out to England. So they were 2-1. New Zealand was 4th in the competition last season. France was 5th. Ireland actually did not make it to WXV1, just like USA wasn't in WXV1 last year. Ireland was actually in the 3rd tier last year because they ended up last in the Six Nations, so they qualified to WXV3. Might have been kind of putting them with a bunch of lower-ranking teams because Ireland just swept that competition and actually won WXV3. This year, like I said, they qualified finishing 3rd in the Six Nations, so they're back in WXV1. This is, of course, USA's first time being in WXV1. It's going to be the first time that they've played against England, France, and Ireland in quite a bit of time. Last time they faced against England was in the Rugby World Cup in 2017, where they lost 47-26. Last time they faced Ireland was in the 2014 Rugby World Cup. They lost 23-17. And then the last time they faced France was actually way back in 2002 Rugby World Cup. France beating USA 21-9. So again, this is a chance for the USA team to face off against top-tier competition that outside of a Rugby World Cup, they really don't get the opportunity to do. So again, I'm all for this competition. I think it's going to be super exciting. Right now, obviously, England looks like the favorite to kind of walk away with this. But again, Canada being number 3, they are a very tough team. Canada faced off against USA a couple months ago in LA. I was announcing that match for the Pacific 4 tournament, and Canada just smoked USA. So Canada has a great team. New Zealand, of course, has a great team too. Also really cool, not only do you have 6 of the top 8 teams in the world rankings, you have the only 3 teams who have ever won a Women's Rugby World Cup in this tier. England winning 2 of them, New Zealand being the dominant one right now, having 6 Rugby World Cup titles. And of course, USA, people forget, they won the very first Rugby World Cup in 1991, and they were also 2nd. They made it to the finals in the following 2 Rugby World Cups. So USA has a high pedigree history. They are just trying to make their way back. And on the heels of finishing third for the women's in the rugby sevens in the Olympics, this is a great opportunity to see USA continue that upward trajectory. Again, this will be a tough competition. I'm not going to deny that. England #1, France #4, Ireland is the closest one to USA at #7, but it's going to be a grind up in Vancouver, British Columbia. But great opportunity for the women's team. I'm going to preview the roster of the women's team. Now, again, we don't have the actual starting lineup, but this is the traveling 33 players that have been selected by head coach Sione Fukufuka, and I'm going to put it up right here. And let's go over the list. A lot of returning players, a lot of veteran players, but at the same time, quite a few young rookie capped Eagles. No one's making a debut, but there are a couple of single-digit cap players here. So again, a good mix of getting some younger girls to get their, like I said, international feet wet, while you're still having the experience of some phenomenal players. And again, the return of some great talent as well. And let's just start at the very top. Alev Kelter, one of the greatest women's USA rugby players, both on the 15s and 7s. Just won a bronze medal with the 7s team. Coming back to the 15s, first time since 2022 Rugby World Cup. And she, of course, is from playing with the Loughborough Lightnings and here in the United States. Again, the teams that they show are the clubs that they're part of. Some of them are Premiership rugby teams. Some of them, of course, Women's Premier League here in Women's Premier League here in the United States. Though, as I mentioned in the video, one of my videos earlier on in the year, that Women's Premier League is now going to evolve into Women's Elite Rugby. So you're going to see a lot of those teams that are here in the United States with those players, just like with Major League Rugby with the men's. It's great to see that pedigree of USA talent working their way up to playing as a national representative for the USA Women's Eagles. So again, Alev Kelter, 23 caps. Olivia Leatherman from Life West, one of the USA-based teams with 5 caps. Atumata Hingano, who is a USA Sevens player, 6 caps. Bulo Mataitoga, the Loughborough Lightnings, along with Alev Kelter, 18 caps. Cassidy Bargell, Beantown RFC, one of the youngsters. She's only had 2 caps, just recently capped for the USA Eagles, playing against Japan, which they did last month. Katie Benson from the Cell Sharks, one of the more experienced players, 45 caps under her belt. Charlie Jacoby, Exeter Chiefs, 29 caps, one of my favorite players to watch. Cheta Emba, another phenomenal 7s player, coming back to the 15s, 9 caps under her. Emerson Allen from Life West, one of the few 1-capped players that will be part of this group. Amelia Hirsch from the Leicester Tigers, 18 caps. Erica Jarrell, Sale Sharks, 10 caps. Gabby Contorna, Exeter Chiefs, another phenomenal player, 30 caps. Haley Taofu from the Loughborough Lightnings, 19 caps. Hope Rogers coming back to the team after suffering an injury earlier this year. One of the most experienced players. She is currently on this roster the most cap player for the USA Eagles with 47 caps from the Exeter Chiefs. Joanne Nana Favesi from the Beantown Rugby Football Club, 7 caps. Katie Zachary, once again, captaining the USA Eagles team from Ealing Trailfinders, 37 caps. Kathleen Shredder, Loughborough Lightnings, 22 caps. Kea Mai Sagapolu, Leicester Tigers, 11 caps. Chris Thomas, another phenomenal USA Sevens player, 11 caps. Maya Learned from the reigning, defending Colorado Grey Wolves champions, the champions of the Women's Premier League, just won the title a couple weeks ago, 13 caps. Fellow Colorado Grey Wolves, Mackenzie Hawkins, Pace Stafopoulos from Beantown Rugby Football Club, 10 caps. Rachel Erecki, also the Colorado Grey Wolves, 15 caps. Rachel Johnson, Exeter Chiefs, 29 caps. Sophie Piers, Life West, 2 caps only. Summer Harris-Jones, another phenomenal 7s player, coming back to the 15s, 4 caps under her belt. Talia Brody, Leicester Tigers, 12 caps. Taina Tukuafu from Berkeley All Blues, again, another team located here in the United States, 10 caps. Tess Fury, another phenomenal player, Leicester Tigers, 28 caps. And finally, Tessa Han, Colorado Grey Wolves, just 1 cap under her. So again, like I said, a mix of some talented players, some very young players. We won't know exactly who the starting 15 will be until the next couple of days. But again, highly recommend, if you're all interested in women's rugby, this is the competition to watch. Because not only do you see the USA playing against some phenomenal teams, you also can watch all the other tier rugby teams, WXV2, WXV3, Japan, if you're interested. The Japan teams qualified to WXV2. Some great, phenomenal talent. And again, a great chance to watch some great women's rugby. All these games, Tier 1, 2, and 3, all available absolutely free on the Rugby Pass TV. Again, just to review, USA will be playing against England first this Sunday, September 29th, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. France next week, October 5th, 12:30 p.m. That is a Saturday. And then finally, Ireland on Friday, October 11th at 12:30 p.m. Highly recommend you check it out. If you can't watch it on live, it will be on demand on Rugby Pass TV. So, again, phenomenal work. I'm very excited for this tournament. Very excited to root on for our USA Eagles. Support them if you watch it. Support them if you want to support USA Women's. If you just want to support women's rugby in general, it is going to be great competition. And I know it's been a while since my last video, but there are going to be more videos coming up soon. We'll maybe do a video about the news that's coming up with Major League Rugby. You know me, I'm not really much of a rumors or news source kind of videos, but maybe we'll talk about it with what happened with, unfortunately, the falling out of the Dallas Jackals from Major League Rugby. But either way, Major League Rugby will be coming back at the beginning of the next year. Before that, USA Men's, they just announced they're going to have a European tour in the next month. I'll do a preview video of that. Of course, Sevens is going to be coming back at the end of the year. I have some interesting projects in the making with Rugby 10, so I'm super excited about that. So there's a lot coming up with rugby here in the United States. And you know me, I'm here to help you guys get into rugby and spread the love and knowledge of rugby here in the United States. So thank you very much for watching my video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the pitch.